I'm Sarah Hashimoris in the Los Angeles Times newsroom. President Obama today met with Pope Francis for the first time at the Vatican. The president gave the Pope a bag of seeds as a gift, signaling a fresh start between the administration and the Vatican after years of strained relations. Obama and Pope Francis, whom the president calls an inspiration, met privately for about 50 minutes. The Times reports the president has publicly associated himself with the Pope's message several times in recent months in speeches, most notably in an address on income inequality delivered last fall. The meeting comes days after the U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments on a contraception mandate included in the president's signature health care reform law, which would exempt churches and houses of worship from the requirement, but would require nonprofit, religiously affiliated groups to either provide contraception coverage to their employees directly or through a third-party insurer. For more, visit LATimes.com and at LATimesWorld on Twitter for the latest updates.
An historic milestone for gay couples in England and Wales, as many tied the knot just after midnight on Saturday.
I, David, take you, Peter, to be my lawful wedded husband.
I am now very happy to announce that you are now legally
Up and down the country, same-sex couples were celebrating at ceremonies which represent the end of years of campaigning for the same rights as straight couples.
So fantastic to be here tonight to celebrate these first same-sex marriages.
Among those were David Cabreza and Peter McGrath, who, at 1 minute past midnight, exchanged vows in North London.
I feel very privileged and honoured and proud to be able to get married in this country. I think it is fantastic. And very optimistic about the future. It's just one of many series of progressions that we've made over the last couple of decades. And I think it's just a phenomenal, fantastic thing, and I'm so honoured to be part of it.
While gay couples have been allowed to enter into civil partnerships since 2005, it was only last July that same-sex marriages were legalised, with campaigners hailing the change in the law as Britain's leap into the 21st century.
At last, Britain has leapt into the 21st century to acknowledge that marriage is for everyone who loves each other.
And while the number of countries legalising gay marriage has grown since the Netherlands made the first move in 2000, only 17 currently allow gay couples to marry.
So congratulations to you both.
Thank you. History has been made as the UK's first same-sex weddings have taken place. Gay marriage became legal in England and Wales at midnight, with some couples wasting no time in taking advantage of the change in the law. This report by Siobhan Robbins does contain some flash photography from the start.
It's an entrance fitting of celebrities. After all, these grooms are preparing to make history. Neil and Andrew are on the way to their wedding, one of the first gay couples in England and Wales to legally marry.
I'm Andrew Martin Wade. I am Andrew Martin Wade. Take you, Neil James Power. Take you, Neil James Power.
It's not easy being the first to say I do, so last-minute jitters are to be forgiven. After all, they've been waiting for this day all their lives, when gay and straight are seen as equal.
You are now legally married.
Personally, it's a wonderful feeling. It was much more emotional than I thought it was going to be, and I feel just kind of happy and buzzing.
It's exciting, it's a new step forward, it's a new beginning, it's all about love.
These ceremonies are being hailed by the government and Labour as a victory for love and equality. Same-sex couples who previously married abroad have also had their unions recognised.
This isn't just a big day for the lucky couples, this is a huge step forward for those fighting for gay and straight relationships to be seen as equal. Just over a decade ago, civil partnerships weren't even legal. Yet here, today, same-sex couples are getting married.
I am now very happy to announce that you are now legally
And other couples across England and Wales have also been taking their vows. Peter and David tied the knot once the clock struck midnight too. Couples in Scotland will soon be able to follow suit, but we're unlikely to see this in Northern Ireland anytime soon. So the fight continues.
We need to keep up the battle, keep up the fight to ensure that all lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender people in this country and around the world have equal human rights.
While some religious groups have welcomed the reforms, others have found them hard to accept. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, said the Church of England was dropping its opposition. But for some, the changes have gone too far.
We have moved all the goalposts. Suddenly, we don't actually know what anything means. Marriage once clearly meant something. A man and a woman in an exclusive promise and in a union that is lifelong for the good of children. That's beautiful.
But no amount of opposition will take away from this couple's joy, that they've finally been allowed to legally marry the person that they love. Siobhan Robbins, Sky News, Brighton.
Gillian, thank you. Now, as we know, same-sex couples tying the knot across England and Wales today because it has become legal for them to marry. And it means many people can celebrate today, even if they're not getting married, because they can renew their vows if they're in a civil partnership. It all rekindles the debate over gay rights and gay parenting. Well, let's discuss all these matters, if we can squeeze it all into a few minutes, with Matthew Todd, editor of Attitude magazine, and the actor Charlie Condou. Morning, gents.
Good morning.
Charlie, what does today mean to you?
I think it means a huge amount to me and to the gay community in general, that finally we have equality. I mean, we've had civil partnership up until this point, but to my mind, that wasn't really...
Why not? Because, I mean, we had a lawyer on earlier on who spelt out in detail that actually, legally, there is very, very little. It's hair-splitting between a civil partnership and a marriage in terms of what legally it gives you.
Sure, but there is that hair there still to be split. I think it was George Orwell that said in his book Animal Farm, all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others, and that's how civil partnership felt to me. If it's the same as marriage, then why not call it marriage? Why not have it the same? To my mind, it's a human right, really.
Matthew, it's been a long time coming, this, for a lot of people who've been campaigning, and for Attitude magazine, which has been, I think, celebrating your birthday today.
Yes, 20.
So 20 years today, and during those 2 decades, things have changed an awful lot, haven't they? After a slow start, if you like, things have picked up quite rapidly.
Well, the magazine started in May 1994, and I remember in February of that year, I was 20, and I was with the thousands of people outside of the House of Commons when they were trying to equalise the age of consent, which was 21 for gay people then. It went to 18 at that time. So we started off, being really, really unequal 20 years ago when the magazine started. So it's it's amazing that so much has changed on some level, but also I'm kind of a bit sad, a little bit bitter, maybe it's not quite the word, but the fact that I was 20 years old and I had to wait another 20 years to be able to get married. And I'm still single, which I'm even more bitter about.
That's another show. Now that the law has been changed, do you really think that public opinion has come along with the law, or that there's still very many people who are resistant?
I think most people have got more important things to worry about. I mean, I know there was some survey recently that's just said that I think 1 in 5 people wouldn't go to a same-sex wedding. Yeah. Well, I want to tell those people you're not invited. Please don't come. More cake for me. I think people are just... it's amazing to see people, maybe older people that one might imagine might have more of a problem with it, and some of them do, but loads and loads of them just say, oh, it's 2 people in love, who cares? There's more important things to worry about.
Actually,
terrible things going on in the world.
That was an interesting survey, because it struck me that it was actually 4 out of 5 people would go, which I thought was a more significant figure in all of that.
I mean, there are a lot of weddings that I wouldn't go to. I don't think it matters on the sex, really, does it? Some people don't like weddings. Maybe that's all it is.
Yeah, well, it's if, like me and Matthew, they're bitter about being single. That's the Look, what about the parenting issue? We had Sandy Totsvig and her son on a little while ago. You've talked in the papers, Charlie, about, you've got a family with parents of 3. How does all that work? And are attitudes to that sort of non-conventional family, if you need to put it in those terms, is that going to change?
Sure, I think it is changing. It's changing a lot at the moment. The amount of same-sex parents in this country has tripled over the last 2 years. So while I don't like to refer to us as a trend, it seems that we are a growing trend in that respect. For those that don't know, I co-parent with my partner Cameron and a friend of ours, Catherine. We have 2 children together who divide their time between the 2 houses. And it works incredibly well for us.
But what happens
we're very lucky.
How old's your child?
We have 2 children, one's 4 and one's 2.
So what happens at parents' evening?
We all go.
You all go?
Yeah.
And is it something that you needed to speak to the school about beforehand, or...?
No, not really. I mean, we're very lucky in that we live in central London and we're in a very liberal-minded community. So it's been fine at our school, and there are other children there of same-sex families. But I am aware that it's not like this for a lot of people around the country and indeed around the world. So we didn't need to have that conversation. We've been very fortunate.
What's your ideal, Matthew, for another 20 years? Is it that things like, Attitude magazine sort of won't have to exist, that no one's going to talk about anything for marriage apart from it just being marriage? But is it for all of these boundaries and sort of points of difference to be forgotten?
I certainly don't want the magazine to end, and I think it won't, because people will always want to look at Harry Judd without his clothes on, which is important to the gay community. No, being serious, I would say bullying is a massive issue. I have interviewed parents of children who have killed themselves, 2 that I can think of off the top of my head, and I think that's an issue which we don't talk about, and I think marriage is important in that respect as well. I think it's really important for young people. I knew I was gay when I was 10. It was completely isolating. I didn't think I had any options. I thought about suicide quite a lot, and I remember something that as I grew older and people realised before I was happy to tell people that I was gay, other kids were bullying me for it, and I remember one of the things they used to say was, you can't get married, you can't get married. So I think it's really important that actually kids can grow up knowing that their relationships are valid and as equal as straight people's. It's not about being special or different, it's just about saying, you can marry a woman or you can marry a man, and it's all good.
Within all of this, can we talk about the day job, Charlie?
My day job.
Your day job, because how important is it that obviously you play a bisexual character in Corrie? How important is it to have characters of that nature in mainstream programmes? It's not that long ago, Will and Grace over in the States was breaking ground because it portrayed a gay character.
Sure.
And now it's becoming sort of the norm in something like Coronation Street.
Well, I think the great thing about shows like Coronation Street that are long running and are on 5 times a week is that they are political with a very small p in terms of changing people's attitudes and minds, if you like. My character was a gay man, very comfortable with his sexuality, very, very happy with who he was, who happened to fall in love with a woman. It's not particularly usual, but it does happen, and I think that was what was more interesting about that storyline, was looking at how he was dealing with his feelings around it and how his ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend were dealing with it as well.
It's a great plotline.
Well, yeah, inevitably in soap, nothing tends to end well, so yeah.
Now, the UK's first same-sex weddings have taken place. Gay marriage became legal in England and Wales at midnight, with some couples quick to take advantage of the change in the law. Sky's Rhiannon Mills